Welcome to our Friday live stream this week in cannabis news, powered by Dutchie for Friday, September 26th, 2025. Each Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, we deliver an overview of this week's cannabis news. It's quick, it's comprehensive, and it sends you into the weekend as a more informed cannabis professional and industry follower. And it's all made possible by our friends at Dutchie. Find out all about Dutchie, including learning more about their e-commerce pro and their 2025 summer launch, in a link in the show notes. Now, let's get to it. On Cultivated.news today, we have an exclusive story from veteran journalist Chris Kasakia on where cannabis industry events are headed, because NECANN abruptly canceled its first Rochester cannabis trade show less than 2 weeks before doors were set to open, a move that underscores the mounting challenges for cannabis events in a tightening industry. We all know that B2B conventions once served as a lifeline for brands, retailers, and ancillary businesses to connect, but shrinking budgets and crowded schedules are making it harder to fill trade show floors. Read more about it, as I mentioned, at Cultivated.news. A link to Chris's story is in the show notes. To California, where California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill that would keep cannabis taxes at 15% after lawmakers attempted to raise it to 19% in July. In response, Vince Ning, the CEO of NABA, said, "This is a positive step forward, but it's just one piece of the puzzle. In some markets, consumers face cumulative tax rates approaching 50% on legal cannabis, conditions that fuel illicit sales and undermine licensed businesses." To the federal government, where President Donald Trump's 50% tariff on Indian goods that went into effect in late August is threatening an important piece of the cannabis industry. India is the world's largest supplier of pre-rolled cones, a product which generates $2.3 billion in sales in 2024. With India producing 50% of these cones for the world, U.S. merchants have to either eat their costs themselves, increase prices, or find a new supplier in a market with few alternatives. To New York, a New York Supreme Court judge issued an injunction on the State Office of Cannabis Management, new interpretation of the rules over how far a dispensary could be located from a school, leaving over 100 license holders in jeopardy of having to move. The judge ruled that the OCM will have to revert to the old proximity rules, which measure door to door rather than school property line to dispensary door, until February 15th, 2026. You can read the judge's orders on Cultivated.news. To our friends at Lit Alerts, despite regional and national brands flocking to the New Jersey market looking for growth, few have broken through the top 10. Our partners at Lit Alerts looked at estimated units sold over the last 90 days, and the cannabis brands backed by the largest vertically integrated multi-state operators are holding their positions in the top 10 in New Jersey. If you want a longer look at this chart that I'm leaving up for right now, visit Cultivated.news. Get charts like this plus much more from Lit Alerts in our newsletter every single week. And one, I guess, kind of fun thing. Former Vice President Kamala Harris says Joe Rogan lied when he claimed she refused to talk about cannabis with him in her new book about the 2024 presidential campaign called 107 Days. Marijuana Moment has the full story, and we can only imagine that Joe Rogan will have something to say about this as well. And that's it for this week in Cannabis News. Thank you all for joining us here today. Thank you to Lit Alerts for your partnership and exclusive insights into New Jersey's top 10 cannabis brands. Thank you, Dutchie, for making this show possible each and every week. You can find out all of these stories and much, much more at Cultivated.news. We'd love for you also to follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube to stay connected on socials. Check back next Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, right here for This Week in Cannabis News, powered by Dutchie. Have a good and safe weekend, everybody.